Hello, everybody. My name is Chloe Radloff, and this is my presentation on English language learners in the state of Arizona as to be used for a professional development day. So what is an ELL? ELL stands for English Language Learner. It's meant to be a temporary label while students work to master proficiency of the English language, right? It's for students whose primary language is something other than English. They have limited English proficiency, and we identify these students through the use of our home language survey, and the Arizona English Language Learner Assessment, which are two things we will be talking about in greater detail later in this presentation. English language learners make up 7% of all students in Arizona. It's pretty substantial. 83,500 EL students, roughly, was reported in the school year 2016 to 2017. Majority of these students are reported to speak Spanish, but other languages spoken include Navajo, Chinese, and Vietnamese. SEI, or Structured English Immersion, is the model for English language acquisition that Arizona uses. It's dedicated to, or it indicates for dedicated, specific, English language development time outside of a regular education classroom. It puts a lot of emphasis on developing specific skills like grammar, vocabulary, reading, writing, and speaking. And it uses or it emphasizes direct instruction of the English language. It uses English as the primary language of instruction, right? This differs from sheltered instruction. Sheltered instruction integrates the English language acquisition process or support into regular education classes and with regular academic content rather than creating specific time for English language development, right? Additionally, SEI focuses on the English language acquisition, right, where sheltered instruction is more support in the regular education classroom. Arizona's SEI, or Arizona's language development approach, follows four main principles. The central focus is on all educators sharing the responsibility of providing high quality EL instruction in a way that promotes student success. Well, the first principle of this is asset-based behaviors and expectations. This supports the development of student agency. It recognizes the English language learner as an asset, right, and appreciates what they bring to the classroom environment, focuses on providing opportunities for them to demonstrate their skill sets, and promote culture sustaining practices, right? It takes their culture, brings it into the classroom, into the education, and puts emphasis on including that rather than diminishing it, right? Two is integrated instruction for disciplinary language and content. English language and academic content are learned simultaneously, right? We're learning English language and academic content, right? It keeps the English language acquisition with aligned with the standards in a way that both are able to be learned simultaneously. Targeted and explicit instruction. This is dedicated time for direct EL or English language instruction, right? This is often aligned with academic standards as well, though. This is individualized to meet the student's needs for success. And four, ongoing assessment, monitoring, and feedback, right? So there's initial assessments, but there's also reassessment, monitoring, because the hope is that these students are not English language learners for forever, but that they eventually graduate, so to speak, out of the program. Student agency, as I mentioned on the previous slide, is a learning process where meaningful and important activities are included in the English language learning process to make it more impactful, right? When students find meaning and value in their learning, they're more likely to be engaged. When they are engaged, they are more likely to learn the content faster, right? Student agency also helps foster an independence in their learning, making them more self-determined to succeed rather than being quote unquote forced to succeed, right? It also gives students control over their learning, fostering a sense of voice, right? Giving them the ability to speak up for themselves. And it also gives them a confidence to speak up for what they need, what they want, and also what they value, right? The benefits of this is that it promotes engagement, promotes self-determination, develops a sense of voice, and a confidence in themselves, stuff that I all just said. Arizona's SEI models, there are 4 approved models. The first is the newcomer model. This is concentrated on the recently arrived students that need foundational language skills, right? Focuses on their specific needs, direct instruction, and creating a supportive environment. This is short term and aimed at integrating the new student into the Arizona school system as quickly as possible. The second method is, or the second model, sorry, is the pull-out model. Students are, quote, pulled out of regular classes for 30 to 60-minute sessions. Lessons emphasize grammar, sentence structure, pronunciation, and uses strategies like scaffolding and modeling to develop that English language acquisition. This involves removing students from their general education classrooms for targeted instruction. This is, again, not meant to be long-term, right? The concern with this one is that students are missing out on that academic content to receive that English language content. The third is the 2-hour model, dedicated ELD instruction, targeting listening, speaking, reading, and writing for a dedicated 2 hours of the school day. It's integrated with academic content and provides consistency for the student, as if the English language learning is its own class for them. And then the 50-50 dual language immersion model. This requires a parent waiver. It's a specialized program aiming to promote bilingualism. This strategy integrates dual language instruction, which is why it requires a parental waiver, because it deviates from standard English immersion approach. It's called 50-50 because instructional time is split 50-50 between the 2 languages. And the hope with this one is promoting proficiency in both languages, not just one language, English, right? So how do we identify when a student needs EL services? Well, any student who is believed to need EL services first is given the home language survey. This is used to determine whether or not the student needs to take the AZELA or the Arizona's English Language Proficiency Assessment. The home survey asks about the primary language spoken at home, what parents speak at home, stuff like that, right? The AZELA is a placement test and is also used for reassessment, so it does both. There's 3 categories students can land in: pre-emergent/emergent, basic/intermediate, and the third one being proficient. This test is standards-based, and students are given proficiency scores in order to place them in one of these 3 levels. Students taking the AZELA have standard accommodations available to them to ensure that the results are accurate for the student's abilities, and also ensures that the test is accessible for all students, right? Some standard accommodations for the Azella include extended time and breaks, the ability to test in either a group or an individual setting, repeated instruction, so having instructions repeated as many times as they need, and the use of visual aids. And then also if a student has an IEP, any accommodations listed in that IEP can be applied to the Azella test. When talking about EL instruction, it's important to talk about the rights that parents/guardians have in regards to their child's education. Students in the United States have the right to comprehensive, appropriate, and high-quality public education, and this includes EL services. Parents must be notified if their students are receiving EL services, and waivers for alternative programs are required. So anything that deviates from the standard or approved programs need parental permission, right? Parents also have the right to be included in decision making. So any time a student is advanced in the program or taken back from the program, right, take a step down, changes are made to their approach or the learning process, parents need to be involved and informed. And parents always have the right to complain if they believe that the rights of their child are not being upheld. They can make complaints to the Arizona Department of Education or Office of Civil Rights if they believe that the school is in violation or is not providing their child the education that they have the legal right to.